Hey everybody, it's Lisa again with your helpful teacher tech tip of the week. Learning.com is an amazing resource that the district has paid for, so I hope that you have already used it. If not, I'm going to give you a easy walkthrough tutorial on how to do a wonderful lesson on plagiarism, copyright, right to privacy, and internet ethics all in one. We are going to learn how to do that incorporated in your classroom from grades 2 to 5, and I'm going to show you some other resources that we have. So you'll log in with your your district credentials and the password that you have been provided. This is what your home screen will look like. You'll click up here onto library. Takes a few seconds to load. Okay, and then if you'll go down here to the Easy Tech TEKS edition. It's fantastic. It's got wonderful resources for everybody. We are going to focus on the online safety one, which if you haven't explored it, it's got some wonderful lessons. If you are K through 2, there's some great resources. To enter any of these, you just click on View. We are going to focus on the grades 3 through 5 online safety. So we'll click on View. And there's wonderful discussion questions, there's different policies out, there's even little skits that you can do. But we are going to cruise on down to the sourcing and ethics. And if you see that has a little window here, that means that there's a video. It shows you what grades it's for, how long it'll approximately take, and then you click on View. Turn that down a little bit. Now, again, we are going to pretend that we are the student going through this lesson. So I'm going to walk through it as if I was a kid doing this lesson, so you can see the time it takes and what information they're looking for. And I'm going to stop and start every now and then when I see a particular topic you can kind of expand on.
Web browsing basics, sourcing and ethics. The World Wide Web is a great place to do research, but sometimes it's hard to know where to start or what type of information to use.
There are many search engines on the World Wide Web. Google is a commonly used search engine.
The U.S. government also has some websites to help you do research. The Think College Early site can help you find information on education and careers. You can research other government information at the Kids section of the White House site. Many libraries let you use their websites to do research. Some library sites even let you know if certain sources are available to check out. In most print materials, like magazines and books, editors check information to make sure it's true. However, no one checks to make sure the information on each website on the internet is true. In order to find out if website information is valid or believable, you can look for certain clues. First, look at the suffix of the URL's hostname. Each suffix has a different meaning. For example, a .edu site is usually part of an educational institution, like a school or university. A .org site is usually for a charity organization or a group that does not sell goods to the public for a profit. A .gov site is usually part of a government group. The most common suffix is .com, which means commercial, but it is also used for other purposes such as online journals or family websites. Look at the information on this site and the hostname suffix. Which statement best describes the site?
Every time the student hears that ding and the green question mark comes up, they cannot move on until they have answered the question correctly, which is one of the reasons I really like this site. Now, of course, the kids will see this window in expanded full view. It'll cover the whole screen, unlike ours. So we're going to go ahead and complete it. It says .com, so we're going to choose A.
Way to go!
Yay!
It is also important that you try to check the author's credibility. The author's credibility is how trustworthy the author is.
What I like about this website also is that the bat flashes on the higher vocabulary words that are necessary for understanding different technology websites, as well as they're great vocabulary words and references to expand on their vocabulary.
In order to check the author's credibility, you need to know who wrote or is responsible for the information on the web page. Sometimes you can find a link about the organization, such as About Us, or a link about the author.
Following this kind of link often gives you information about the author's credentials.
Credentials are information such as educational achievements, professional memberships, or published articles that show that the person or group should be believed. Credentials should relate to the content of the page you're viewing. For example, this is probably not a trustworthy website because someone who is a banker might not have the credentials that relate to caving. This probably is a trustworthy website since a professional outdoor leader created it.
Find a link to the author's credentials and click or tap it.
Is this author or group credible for this topic?
So, looking at the author's name, I would come down here. I would know Madeline is her name. I would look on this, and that would be the correct answer. Is this author or group credible? Absolutely. If you read through the explanation, she is a credible resource.
That's right. Next, you should find out if the site is up to date. To do this, sometimes you can find the date of publication or the date of last update. If a web page that has current events information is outdated or older than about 5 years, it may not be accurate. If a web page has historical information, the date of last update is not as important. Find the date of publication or last update for this site. Has the information been published or updated within the past 5 years?
We can see that the answer is no.
You got it. Another way to tell if a site is valid is to look at the design of the site. The design of the site is the general way it looks or how its web pages are presented. The information should be easy to find and the pictures should relate to the text. Spelling and grammar errors can show that the site was not carefully designed. Sometimes web pages include color advertisements that seem like part of the content.
However, if you follow an ad link, it often takes you to a different, unrelated page that is meant to sell you something. Before clicking or tapping pictures on a web page, try to determine if they relate to the content on the page.
Not all sites have all of these validity features. Use your best judgment to find out if a site is valid and useful by reading through the content and checking any validity features you can find. Based on its design, does this website seem valid? Fantastic! Another way to validate information is to compare results from different websites. For example, if we used a search engine to search for the world's longest cave, we find 3 websites that say Mammoth Cave is the longest cave in the world. But we also find one other website that says Jewel Cave is the longest. The sites with the same information have a better chance of being valid than the one with different information.
Read through each of these sites. Choose the site that is not valid.
We as teachers can see that the advice from the Daredevil Damien is probably not going to be the correct answer, or going to be the correct answer.
After you find information, you probably want to use it for some purpose. You already know about respecting people's property and not taking things without permission. You should also avoid plagiarizing, or taking words or ideas from people and claiming them as your own.
This is also a great part, just to interject, that you could take this portion of the lesson, expand on it with BrainPop. There's an amazing lesson on the bottom of that on plagiarism as well, and it's got some great questions that this video with the BrainPop video will be able to answer. So our ELLs and our struggling readers have a better chance of understanding what plagiarism really is because of this video and the BrainPop in conjunction with one another. So let's keep going.
All websites are copyrighted. A copyright is the legal right that means all writers and artists own their words, software, art, and music. Copyrights are automatically given as soon as the work is finished. If you take information from writers or artists without permission, it is called a copyright violation.
In order for information to be shared, copyright laws allow for fair use of information. Fair use allows you to use another person's copyrighted information as long as you are using it for things like teaching or research, and you only use a small part of the work. Even under the rules of fair use, you need to cite the source of the information to avoid plagiarism.
Citing a website is similar to sourcing a book, article, or other print material. There are a few different ways to cite online sources depending on what you're writing. Usually, you need to include the author's last name, first name, title or description of the site, date of publication or last update, name of the website's organization, complete URL, and the date you visited the site. If you can't find all this information, include what you can find.
Now, if you want this information on an anchor chart to hang in your classroom, please feel free to email me after this video is done. I will have that anchor chart created for you by one of the volunteers up front. If you would like them to have APA format and have the author's first name with just its capital letter and a period following, please just note that, and I will make two different versions. I can make this version, or I can make the other APA version, whichever one you would prefer.
The paper on the right shows a list of citations that were used in the report. The left shows the web page used in the first citation. Notice the author's name, the title of the site, date of last update, website organization, URL, and date visited. Type the URL for the second citation into the web browser location bar and press Enter or Return.
So the kids already have to know where the the URL address box is, and they have to understand how to be able to type it in. So they that will give them a couple of different, oops, well, there you go. I can't type it either. In different, excuse me, I've got my fingers on the wrong keys, on different sources and different activities that they have to do with technology.
Way to go!
At the beginning of the second citation, type the author's last name, followed by a comma, then the first name and a period. Then press the gold star.
Okay, and we see that the last name is Pong, comma, Carroll, period. And then we press on our gold star.
Marvelous!
Yay!
People use websites for many different purposes. By carefully looking for clues and validating the information you find, the Internet is a great research tool. Remember to cite any sources you use from the World Wide Web when writing reports or other projects.
I really do like this information because it provides us with an explanation of how to cite from the web. That is where we know most of our kids are going to be getting their information from. They're going to try Google first. No matter how many times we provide different databases, they'll probably do that first. So we need them to know how to cite a website status first, and then I definitely think we should be citing different books that we're providing with them. I also will be providing you with 3 of the different sites that I did a poster on for plagiarism, and it has some great lesson tips that I put in there for you. It's got some great different activities and some advice on how to navigate it to get the best use of your time, because I know you don't have a lot of time, and that is what I'm here for these tech tips. So I hope that Learning.com has been beneficial for you. I hope this video has as well. And again, if you want any help on that informational poster on how to cite something for your classroom, please don't hesitate to ask. My last little bit is about challenging library materials, and unfortunately in the district we don't have something that is technology based. We still are doing it handwritten kind of information. To challenge a library material, any book that you see or a student finds that they and the parent feels that it is not appropriate for the school, first and foremost, bring it to your librarian. Of course, the parent will have brought it to you. Hopefully, they will have brought it to your attention first. Bring it to the librarian, as well as let's contact our principal, Dr. Vogel, so that we can go through the proper channels. If it's something that the district feels is valid or has been challenged before, we can present that information to the parents easily. If it has not been challenged and we want them, or if they want to challenge it later on, we as the library staff and the administration will be happy to provide them with that information on how to challenge the material. And when an item is being challenged, it is taken off of the shelf until proven either not worthy to be there or subsequently okay to go back onto the shelves because of different, whatever situation or response that they give at the end. So again, if you have any questions on challenging your library materials, please contact the librarian first so that we can go through the proper channels and get that taken care of for you. We want to ease the tension of any kind of animosity with parents or frustration with parents, and we will do everything we possibly can to help you guys out. So thanks again. Have a wonderful week.